happening today. It's Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day, and our Emily Roberts is in the studio after sitting down with one Appleton woman battling breast cancer. So Emily, it's so interesting. You talked to her. She has kind of a unique experience.
It's really inspirational, really. Tina Deeg in Appleton learned she had stage 4 metastatic breast cancer 2 years ago. And right before her wedding, one of her biggest fears was actually losing her hair ahead of that wedding day. Doctors said she'd likely lose her hair during aggressive chemotherapy, and that's not what she wanted to hear, knowing it could impact her childhood dream of actually styling her hair on her wedding day. That's when she went to UW Health's Carbone Cancer Center and joined a clinical trial. Her doctor says she's responding very well to immunotherapy and a targeted estrogen blocker. Amazing news. So well, actually, she had a scare just 1 week after starting the trial when she noticed swelling in her breast. Turns out that swelling stemmed from something called pseudoprogression, basically tumor cells dying. Amazing news. Take a look at some of these photos from the summer. Tina absolutely beaming and feeling great on her wedding day. Her doctor even celebrating.
Say it all the time, my husband and I. We say, you know, what if we never got into this trial? Where would we be? I said, you know, I might, be laying on the couch or sleeping or not feeling well, and that's not me.
Tina's tumor shrunk significantly since starting the trial. She plans to stay on this treatment plan as long as it keeps working. Catherine,
That's one.